Imagine getting pulled over, handed a fine, or even having your license suspended, not because you did something wrong, but simply because you didn't know about a new rule that went into effect this month. That is happening to real drivers across the United States right now, and most of them had no idea the rules had even changed. If you are driving on American roads in April 2026, the next few minutes could save you from serious legal trouble, heavy fines, and a whole lot of stress. Stay right here, because what you are about to hear affects every single driver in this country. Welcome back to DriveAuthority USA, the channel that keeps you informed, keeps you legal, and keeps you safe on every road you travel. I am glad you are here today because this is one of the most important updates we have covered in a long time. April 2026 has brought a fresh wave of driving regulations across the United States, and these are not minor tweaks. These are substantial changes that affect how you drive, how your vehicle must be equipped, how you interact with law enforcement, and how you handle your documentation. Whether you are a daily commuter, a long-haul trucker, a rideshare driver, or someone who just drives on weekends, these updates apply to you. So let us get into every single detail without wasting another second. The first, and perhaps most talked about change coming into full enforcement this April, is the updated hands-free device regulation. Several states that previously had partial hands-free laws have now moved to complete hands-free enforcement, meaning that holding your phone for any reason while the vehicle is in motion is now a primary offense. This means an officer does not need another reason to pull you over. Seeing you hold your phone is enough. States including Georgia, Texas, Florida, and Ohio have tightened their enforcement policies, and fines in some jurisdictions now start at $250 for a first offense and climb significantly for repeat violations. The key point here is that even stopping at a red light does not protect you. If your engine is running and you are in traffic, you must be hands-free. Bluetooth, mounted GPS systems, and voice commands are your only legal options in these states now. The second major update involves speed camera legislation. Multiple states have expanded their automated speed enforcement programs in April 2026, particularly in school zones and construction zones. What makes this update critical is that many of these cameras are now operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of whether school is in session or workers are physically present in construction zones. The fines are automatically mailed to the registered vehicle owner, and in several states, accumulating a certain number of camera violations within a 12-month period can now trigger a license review. If you have been used to speeding slightly through a school zone late at night thinking no one is watching, that era is officially over. Third on the list is a significant update to vehicle emissions requirements. Several states aligned with California's emission standards have now implemented stricter inspection protocols for model year vehicles ranging from 2015 to 2019. If your vehicle falls in this range and you live in a state that follows California Air Resources Board standards, which now includes Washington, Oregon, Colorado, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and several others, you may need to pass a more detailed emissions inspection before your registration can be renewed this year. Vehicles that fail the updated inspection will have a shorter window to complete repairs before registration is suspended, dropping from the traditional 60-day grace period down to 30 days in most of these states. Fourth, and this one is extremely important for rideshare and delivery drivers, the commercial use classification rules have been updated. If you are driving for platforms like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, or Amazon Flex for more than 20 hours per week, several states are now requiring that your personal vehicle registration reflect commercial or semi-commercial use. This directly impacts your insurance requirements as well. Drivers operating under personal insurance policies while using their vehicles commercially for more than the threshold hours may find their claims denied in the event of an accident. Several state insurance commissioners issued new guidance in early 2026, and April marks the beginning of active enforcement. If this applies to you, contact your insurance provider immediately to ensure your coverage is correctly classified. Fifth, there are new rules around electric vehicle charging and road use fees. As electric vehicles continue to grow in number across the country, several states that previously had no road use fee for EV owners have now introduced annual mileage-based fees to compensate for the gas tax revenue that EVs do not generate. States like Texas, Tennessee, and Missouri have formalized these fees beginning this month, and failure to pay the annual EV road use assessment can now result in a registration hold. If you own an electric vehicle, check your state DMV website immediately to see if this new fee structure applies to you and when your payment deadline falls. Sixth, updated DUI and impairment laws are now in effect in multiple states. This is not just about alcohol. Several states have updated their impairment statutes to include clearer language around prescription medication impairment and cannabis impairment, even in states where cannabis is recreationally legal. Law enforcement officers have received updated training on field sobriety assessments for drug impairment, and oral fluid testing, commonly known as saliva testing, has been approved as a supplementary tool in states including Michigan, Minnesota, and New Jersey. Just because a substance is legal does not mean you can drive under its influence, and the updated statutes make this even more explicit than before. Seventh, there are new seatbelt and child safety seat regulations that took effect this April. The updated federal guidelines that were introduced in late 2025 have now been adopted at the state level in the majority of states. The rear-facing car seat requirement for children under 2 years of age has been strengthened, and the height and weight thresholds for transitioning between car seat stages have been revised upward. Additionally, adult seatbelt enforcement has been extended in certain states to include all rear seat passengers regardless of age. If you had grandparents or adult passengers sitting in the back seat without seatbelts, that is now a ticketable offense in those states. Eighth, truck and large vehicle regulations have seen meaningful updates this month. Federal hours of service rules have been adjusted for short-haul commercial drivers, modifying the definition of the short-haul exemption radius from 150 air miles to 175 air miles. This expands relief for some drivers, but also closes loopholes that others had been using. Electronic logging device audits have also become more frequent following a joint initiative between the FMCSA and state highway patrols, with particular focus on owner-operator truckers who manage their own compliance documentation. Ninth, updated rules around road rage and aggressive driving are now carrying heavier penalties. Several states passed legislation in 2025 that took effect in early 2026, creating enhanced criminal charges for road rage incidents that involve physical altercations, intentional vehicle contact, or brandishing a weapon. These are no longer treated as simple traffic matters in many jurisdictions. Depending on the severity, a road rage incident can now result in felony charges, mandatory license suspension, and court-ordered anger management programs. Dashcam footage is increasingly being used as evidence in these cases, both by victims and by law enforcement. Tenth, and finally, there are new digital documentation rules that are quietly rolling out across multiple states. Following the expansion of real ID acceptance and mobile driver's license technology, several states are now officially accepting digital driver's licenses stored in approved wallet applications on smartphones as valid identification during traffic stops. However, this comes with specific rules. Officers in these states are still permitted to request a physical document if they have reasonable concerns about the authenticity of the digital version. And if your phone battery is dead, you cannot claim your digital license as an excuse for not having valid ID. Carry your physical license as a backup until digital acceptance becomes universally standardized. That was a massive amount of information, and every single point we covered today is something that could directly affect your driving experience, your wallet, and your legal standing. From hands-free phone laws and speed cameras to emissions inspections, rideshare insurance, EV fees, impairment laws, child seat updates, trucking regulations, road rage penalties, and digital licenses, April 2026 is truly a landmark month for driving regulations in the United States. This is exactly why DriveAuthority USA exists. Our job is to make sure you are never caught off guard by changes that the mainstream news barely covers. Knowledge is your best protection on the road, and we are committed to delivering that knowledge to you clearly, completely, and consistently. If this video helped you today, please hit the like button right now because it genuinely helps more drivers find this information when they need it most. Subscribe to DriveAuthority USA if you have not already, and make sure you have notifications turned on so you never miss a critical update like this one. Share this video with every driver you know, your family, your friends, your coworkers, because any one of them could be affected by what we discussed today. We will see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay legal, and stay safe out there.